You are listening to WTUZ Radio Podcast. Welcome to WTUZ Radio Podcast. It's been a while. All righty, so today's topic is following up on the series that we have running for, I think this is the second year, Gateway to a New Economy. And the purpose of that series, or this series rather, is to give you an overview of what is going on from a financial perspective around the world and tying in how this is the biggest financial reset we will see in our lifetime. This is equivalent to the 1933 shakeup. So the update today is BlackRock actually last month has submitted to the SEC in order to get into the crypto space. Okay, so this is really, really huge. As a part of this series, we went into detail on how the cryptocurrency is really a part of a broader initiative, which is really to switch the economy from a paper-based currency over to digital. Okay, so we've been following this for a couple of years, and now it is here on the horizon. Okay, so let's just real quick, although they submitted for the to the SEC last month, now it is going public to the mainstream. Okay, and like I have discussed previously, and I will continue to discuss, BlackRock is a company that you definitely want to follow everything that they do because they are an oligarchy. So any company around the world, just not the United States, BlackRock pretty much has their hand in. Okay. So anytime they make some type of move, it is definitely worth your while to keep up with it. And you can tie in where the market is currently at, as well as the overall strategy on where things are going. All right. So it's no surprise to me that BlackRock is getting into the crypto space. Because again, the whole concept of crypto is really about resetting, moving from a digital paper currency to moving from a paper currency to a digital currency. All right. So, and then we'll just fold in a couple of other things. So this is from CNBC. It came out a couple days ago. BlackRock has a responsibility to democratize investing, including crypto, Larry Fink says. BlackRock moves into crypto fits into the asset management giant's broader mission of creating products that are easy to use and cheap for investors. CEO Larry Fink said Friday. All right. So I am saying to you all, fam, let's just use basic critical thinking. This isn't about making it easier for investors. This is all about, this is the plan overall. This is a worldwide plan. So they're just announcing to the world that they are in support of digital. Okay. We believe we have a responsibility to democratize investing. We've done a great job, and the role of ETFs in the world is transforming investing. And we're only at the beginning of that, okay? BlackRock applied for a spot Bitcoin ETF on June 15th, which appeared to spur a rally in cryptocurrencies and a flurry of similar filings from other asset managers. The initial filing for the iShares Bitcoin Trust did not include a management fee. The Security and Exchange Commission has previously rejected dozens of applications for similar funds, but BlackRock's involvement and the proposed surveillance sharing agreements in the filing is seen by many in the crypto industry as a sign that momentum is shifting. We are working with our regulators because, as in any new market, if BlackRock's name is going to be on it, we're going to make sure that it's safe and sound and protected, Fink says. All right, so just a couple things on this statement. Just like I said, this is why it's important for you to follow what BlackRock is doing, okay? Because we know, because they are an oligarchy and they have their hand literally in every major business around the world, they are someone to pay attention to, okay, on how they move. Okay, so even they admit by them associating their name with crypto, they understand that that is sending a very important message. Okay, Fink had previously been critical of crypto, saying in 2017 that the popularity of digital currencies was due in large part to money laundering. Okay, so some of you that's been rocking with me for a few little years have been talking about crypto. Oh my God, it's been quite some time. Okay, and when some of the banks were coming out saying they are against it, yada 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 yada, I told you all then that it was a farce. They're only doing that because, folks were buying up the crypto, doing trading in the crypto space, et cetera, et cetera. So it was kind of like to throw the market off, per se. Okay. And sure enough, banks pulling back or claiming that they don't agree with it, yada, 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 did get a lot of people out of crypto who didn't understand what it was really about. And it's really about the underlying technology to move from the way that financial transactions are being done today, to do them faster. So it's a couple things. It's definitely the underlying technology. So it's an upgrade in the financial technology, as well as, more importantly, a shift in the worldwide economy. Okay, so going from paper currencies to digital. Okay, so again, the initial, I would say, scare, and to me, this is just Rhonda's personal opinion, I call it market manipulation. Okay, although, of course, they wouldn't say that. I knew they were putting out those messages to throw folks off, because when you do research, those same said banks were funding different crypto coins for the underlying technology. So I knew this farce of, oh no, we shouldn't do digital currency, this, that, and the third, da, 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 da. I knew it was a bunch of mess. All right. So, however, interest from clients and the high cost of transactions motivated BlackRock to take a closer look at entering the space, Fink said. And again, they were already going to be in the space, okay? When these things are done, such as something this huge, these big players, and BlackRock is one of them, they're very well aware of what is going to happen over the next 10, 20 years. I am just willing to bet they even had a seat at the table for those particular discussions, okay? So it's not that they all of a sudden turned around from 2017 to 2023 and said, yep, we're going to get into crypto. No, they already knew that they were going to have to get into crypto because that's the way the entire world was going to be moved, okay? He also added that crypto can serve a diversification role in investor portfolios, okay? It has I'm tongue-tied, y'all. It has different value versus other asset classes, but more importantly, because it is so international, it's going to transcend any one currency, okay? The CEO declined to discuss the spot Bitcoin ETF directly, saying he is prohibited from doing so while the filing is with the SEC. BlackRock reported its second quarter results on Friday, earning $9.28 in adjusted earnings per share on $4.46 billion in revenue. The company said it now has more than $9 trillion in assets under management, okay? So all you got to do is look at the numbers if you don't believe how powerful BlackRock is. They are managing assets equivalent to what entire nations have. 9 trillion is quite a bit. Okay. All right. So that's BlackRock. Right. So this is just yet more confirmation that they are definitely rolling out digital currency. So just real quick, just reminding the family, we talked about how FedNow, the Federal Reserve, this month, they're saying now at the end of July, they're going to roll out the revamping of their transactional payment system. So just real quick, and this is coming from the Federal Reserve Bank, all right? So on June 29th, the Federal Reserve announced that 57 early adopter organizations, including financial institution and service providers, had completed formal testing and certification on the FedNow service in advance of its launch in late July. Many of these organizations will be live when the FedNow service launches or shortly after, with financial institutions ready to send and receive transactions and service providers ready to support transaction activities. This group of early adopters is now performing final trial runs on the service to confirm their readiness to support live transaction over new instant payments and new instant payment infrastructure. The early adopters include 41 financial institutions participating as senders, receivers, or correspondents supporting settlements, 15 service providers processing on behalf of participants, and the U.S. Department of Treasury. In addition to the early adopters, the Federal Reserve continues to work with and onboarding financial institutions and service providers, but planning to join later in 2023 and beyond as the initial steps to grow a robust network aimed at reaching 10,000 U.S. financial institutions. Okay, so just a real high-level recap on the FedNow service. It's really just revamping the financial transaction payments, so the behind the scenes stuff, okay, to instant payment. Okay, so long gone are the days, and although we're pretty much there already, but it's really, really going to be streamlined. Long gone are the days where you're waiting a couple days for financial transactions to go through. We are talking instantaneous. Okay. Now, I do just want to make clear that this FedNow rollout is not right now, I am saying right now, linked to the digital currency space. It is not linked because it is not sitting on the same technology platform. Okay. I'm saying right now. I think this is the first step of getting everything instantaneous, and then eventually it will all be on the same digital currency platform, and everything, the dollar will go from being paper digital dollar to a central bank digital currency, which is called, the acronym is CBDC. Okay, so when you hear CBDC, that's what that means. It's the central bank's issuance of a digital currency, right? And that is happening around the world. Okay. All right. So just real quick, these are the banks so far that are participating in the FedNow launch that's happening at the end of this month. So, of course, I'm not going to go through this entire list, but these are just the ones that are rolled out this so far, that's scheduled to roll out in this month. Okay, and then they also list the service providers as well. Okay, so I did want to discuss, because like I said, and like there's been talk and rumble on folks that follow this stuff, that, we're thinking in our, spidey senses, or whether or not you want to say our conspiracy theorists, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call it, we're sensing that the FedNow is definitely going to be eventually linked to digital currency. All right. So this is coming from Fortune magazine. I kind of chuckled that now they even have a crypto section. So kind of laughed. I haven't been on Fortune in a while. I'm like, whoa, how far has crypto come? All right. So FedNow is set to launch in July what the instant payment service could mean for a digital dollar and stable coins. All right. The Federal Reserve Instant Payments Network is just, well, it's here now, we know, but because this article was in March. It's just months away from launching, which is raising questions over any efforts to create a digital dollar. FedNow has been in the works since 2019 and will be released in July. According to the central bank, FedNow will allow businesses and individual customers of participating banks to send and receive payments 24 hours, 7 days a week, an alternative to the existing system that doesn't process payments on the weekend. The service aims to create a leading-edge payment system that is resilient, adaptive, and accessible. But FedNow's ability to facilitate real-time transactions and give customers immediate access to funds has the potential to supplant the benefits of a blockchain-based U.S. central bank digital currency. Okay, so it was really, really I thought this was interesting for Fortune magazine to even pick up. That, yeah, okay, the FedNow rollout of their new instant payment system is just a gateway to moving over to the blockchain technology which that particular technology supports. That's the underlying technology that supports digital currency system. Some have speculated this is part of the point. Speaking before the House Financial Service Committee earlier this month, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said the central bank was not close to releasing a U.S. central bank digital currency, or CBDC, still referring to FedNow. He hinted at the time that we'll have real payments in this country very, very soon. Powell has implicated that stable coins could fit into traditional banking system, but reiterated that more regulations and safeguards were needed for digital assets. All right, so I'm here to let you know they already know what it is. They are already in the crypto space, starting to, and they've been doing this over the last couple of years, wrap their arms around regulations. They've gotten to the point, even with some of these crypto spaces that hold the assets or the trading platforms, they're even come down on them with regulations. So meaning they must report as you are purchasing these particular crypto assets, and they also have to report out when you sell them because, hey, they want their ends. They want the taxes, the associated taxes on said profits from the sale of those crypto assets, right? And recently, I want to say a couple months ago, one of the trading platforms, Binance, okay, and those of you in the crypto space, you know what I'm talking about. In the U.S., I'm not sure how other countries are handling this, but in the U.S., we had to move our assets off of that platform because the U.S. no longer allowed that particular company to operate in the U.S. All right. So I kind of chuckled. I'm like, okay, yep, we knew that was coming. So look for a lot of these other trading, these other trading crypto platforms to be shut down. I'm not sure how many they're going to leave upstanding, but we do know Coinbase is the main platform, and that one I know for sure is going to be standing. Okay, so that's just a little bit, a tidbit for those of you that have your digital assets on these other platforms. You may want to start making arrangements to get them off that platform. If you want to put them in your personal digital wallet or move it to Coinbase, okay, because it's coming if the other platforms have not already been shut down. All right, so Powell has implied, okay, we talked about that. Another member of the Fed Board of Governors, Michelle Baumann, said last year, FedNow addresses the issue that some have raised about the need for a central bank digital currency. As for its effect on the private crypto industry, some have questioned whether FedNow could affect the efforts by stablecoin companies to reach more Americans. While stablecoins will continue to appeal to crypto natives, it may be harder to convince others to make the leap for everyday payments. Okay, so I'm just here to tell you that that's where the CBDC will come into play. Now, this is just Rhonda's opinion. Okay, I feel that they are going to roll it out first, meaning rolling out a central bank digital currency. I think they're going to start rolling it out by incentives. All right. So in other words, you know, if you transfer your paper currency from the transfer your paper currency to CBDC. Let's say for every $1,000, we'll give you $25 in CBDC. Okay. And then as, depending on how much traction that gets, people will naturally start moving over to get the extra whatever incentive they're going to give. If folks aren't moving, they'll either come up with a reason why they need to move and then force the issue. Okay. This is no different than how when other countries either roll out a new denomination or sunset a denomination, they do it pretty much overnight. Okay, I don't think they're going to do the CBDC this way, but make no mistake about it. If they need to do it that way and switch it overnight, they will deem to do so. Okay. All right. Okay, so the biggest U.S.-based stablecoin company, Circle, the creator of the U.S. dollar, I forgot what that stands for, USDC, was confronted with a difficult predicament over the weekend as 3.3 billion of the around 40 billion in reserve backings in stablecoin were caught up in Silicon Valley Bank. Okay, remember that bank that collapsed? Okay. After several days of coin trading below its dollar peg, the Fed jumped in to backstop all deposits of the USDC. I think that's a digital currency, but I forgot for sure. So digital dollar, fam, is what it really means, but I forgot what the acronyms stand for. Okay, so the Fed basically stepped in to kind of clean up the mess, which I found that very, very interesting within itself. So they said Circle did not immediately respond to a request for comment. All right. So again, this is coming from Fortune magazine, and even they are now starting to say, this FedNow rollout, we think it's deeper than what they're saying. They are really talking about that's just a stepping stone to move over to a central bank digital currency. So again, what that means is instead of the Fed Reserve issuing out dollars, they would issue out a digital currency. All right. So let's go a little bit step further and let's see what the IMF is talking about. Okay. So again, family, as I'm going through this stuff, these are things that you can kind of keep an eye on yourself. Now, the IMF, they're the big daddy per se in the financial world. All right. Fed Reserve, everyone, moves to what they say. So between the IMF and the World Bank, they run everything. Okay, this is why I am telling you all that this is a worldwide financial reset. All right, make no mistake about it. So that's why when you're following these things, it's important for you to check with the big dogs. Okay, because it's more than just about a local company. In the U.S., it's more than about even what local politicians say. Contrary to popular belief, they do not make these decisions. These decisions are made at the IMF level and World Bank level. Okay, they plan these things out. I would say this is just Rhonda's opinion, at a minimum 25 years, but realistically, we're probably looking at their minimum is a 100-year cycle. These things are planned, okay? So none of these other nations, and that's including the United States, that's including the politicians, that's including the president, they don't get to make these decisions, all right? So let's see what the IMF, International Monetary Fund, is talking about. Interest in central bank digital currency picks up in Latin America and the Caribbean, while crypto use varies, all right? So again, this came out last month, okay? And we've reported in the past these different nations that were rolling out cryptocurrency and using digital wallets, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So CBDC, central bank digital currency, if well designed, could lower remittances costs and improve financial inclusion. But for crypto assets to safely remain part of the payment system, what? They need to be regulated. All right. And as I stated before, they are in the process of doing that regulation. All right. Latin America and the Caribbean are at the forefront of digital money adoption, offering valuable lessons for the rest of the world. While El Salvador has made headlines by granting legal tender status to Bitcoin, other LACs countries have made significant strides in the introduction of central bank digital currencies to either enhance financial inclusion and payment systems resilience or lower cost cross-border remittance costs, as our recent research shows. Okay, now remember, we're not on one of the crypto currencies blogs. We're with Big Daddy now. This is IMF. Oh, they're actually live. I wonder what they're talking about. I have to jump over there and see what they're talking about later. Anyway, the Bahamas pioneered the introduction of a CBDC with the sand dollar in 2020, and the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union and Jamaica have followed suit. Brazil CBDC project is also in the advanced proof of concept stage, seeking to enhance asset tokenization by turning assets such as real estate, stocks, and commodities into digital representations to facilitate their transfer and increase their liquidity. All right. So again, this is not coming from a crypto site. This is coming from Big Daddy. All right. We told you all that they were behind the scenes working on this. All right. So now they have pilots going on, because that's basically what proof of concept means. Okay. You build something and you have, you pick a certain demographic to actually start using it to prove out, is this going to work or not? All right. So they're literally trying to prove out what? The CBDC. Okay. All right. Notably, 4 Latin American countries, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, and Ecuador, ranked in 2022 among the top 20 in global adoption of crypto assets. They seek the benefits that digital assets claim to offer, including protection against certain domestic macroeconomic conditions, circumvention of capital controls. To me, in my personal opinion, this is all about capital control. All right. Now, from the spiritual / esoteric perspective, we're moving to ether. Okay. So it's lining up with the energy or the ages. So moving to the Aquarian age. Okay, so we just left out of the Pisces age. Pisces associated with the fish associated with water, current sea, get it? Current of the sea. And now we're into the Aquarian age, which a lot of people think that's water. Yeah, you can say it's water as well, but it's also really ether. Okay. All right. So that's the esoteric spiritual side of this switch. Okay. But it is also ultimate control of capital. All right. Improve financial inclusion for unbanked population. Again, that's control. All right. So I think in India, if I'm not mistaken, either last year or year before last, they forced everyone to get a bank account. All right. Because India is known, well, I'm not sure if it's still known, but they had a lot of small mom and pop businesses that were doing hand-to-hand cash transactions. All right. And they switched it up on them, and they had so many days. I can't remember if it was 5 days, whatever the case may be, that they had to go get bank accounts. All right. So this isn't about financial inclusion for unbanked populations. This is about capital controls. All right. All right. And then cheaper and faster payments and stronger competition. However, crypto asset adoption also presents numerous challenges and risks, particularly for vulnerable Latin American countries with a history of macroeconomic instability, low institutional credibility, substantial capital flows, corruption, and extensive informal sectors. 12 out of the 19 jurisdictions in the region surveyed for our paper in mid-2020 either already had a special regulatory framework in place or are in the process of creating one. All right. So they kind of give us a little map here, telling us, who's doing what. All right. So you can see from here who's in process and who's already rolling out and who it doesn't apply to yet. Okay. So quite a big audience in the Latin American countries for digital currency. Adopting crypto. Regulation of crypto assets vary across Latin American countries. While Salvador has made Bitcoin legal tender, declared by law to be a valid payment instrument to settle transactions and financial obligations, other countries like Argentina and Dominican Republic have prohibited the use of crypto assets due to concerns about their impact on financial stability, currency and asset substitution, tax evasion, corruption, and money laundering. Okay, so this statement right here, with the fact that they're concerned about the stable coins, so meaning like the Bitcoins and Ethereum, I can't think of another one off the top of my head, as being able to be legal currency will be what they're going to use to say this is why we need a central bank digital currency to become legal tender. All right. So again, they're just testing their beak per se with these Latin American countries. But I am predicting that like the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all that jazz, I don't think they will be deemed as able to be used as legal tender per se across the board. I think that they're going to use this case of they don't feel it's either stable or they still think it's going to be fraud involved, money laundering, XYZ. That is why we need a central bank digital currency. All right, that's just my 2 cents. All right, El Salvador's experience with Bitcoin suggests there are risks to adopting unbacked crypto assets, those that rely on supply and demand rather than on any asset for value, and that are subject to significant price volatility, even when explicitly supported by the government. Okay. All right. So anybody in the crypto space, you understand how volatile the price of the crypto market happens. Bitcoin at one point was up to 19,000 per coin. And then it went all the way down to the 20 something. I'm not sure what it's back up to today. All right. Again, this is going to be the justification of rolling out that CBDC. That's just Rhonda's opinion. All right. So a 2022 national survey suggests that Bitcoin is still not a widely accepted medium of exchange in El Salvador, despite its legal tender status and substantial government incentives. Effective adoption of stable coins, crypto assets that aim to have a stable price relative to a specified asset, can also pose challenges, as demonstrated by Meta's pilot project. It would have allowed users in the U.S. and Guatemala to make domestic and cross-border payments without fees through its digital wallet, the Novi, while potentially reducing cost of cross-border payments. The project also posed the risk of domestic currency substitution in Guatemala, which is again why they're going to, in my opinion, roll out the central bank digital currencies worldwide. It was wound down in 2022 amid Western regulations pushback against Meta's expansion into cryptocurrency. The promise of CBDCs. Now, again, I just want you all to know who this is coming from. Big Daddy, International Monetary Funds. Okay, they set them in the World Bank. They set the precedents. They set what's going to roll out from a financial perspective. Most central banks in Latin American countries are analyzing the potential introduction of what? CBDC, with some island nations having already issued their own. According to our survey with government officials in the region, half of the respondents were considering both retail, designed for general public, and wholesale, intended for use by the financial institution, CBDC options. Adoption of CBDCs, so central bank digital currency. Most central banks in Latin America and the Caribbean have or are considering adopting digital currency. If done right, CBDCs can improve financial inclusion and lower remittance costs. Okay, so once again, they give us a breakdown of who's doing it, and you can see who is research studying, and then who are experimenting with the proof of concept. So meaning they're actually using the CBDCs. Okay, and so you can see from this graph that that's quite a big chunk of those who are using it. Okay. All right. Most survey participants view CBDCs as a means to enhance their payment systems and broaden their access. They deem financial inclusion and monetary sovereignty as critical factors in favor of retail CBDC issuance by facilitating the integration of both, here we go, integration of who? The unbanked individuals. They really concerned, about them unbanked individuals. And I'm telling you, that concern is, I need to know where them ends are going. I know y'all making money under the table. You ain't fooling me. And you haven't ran Big Daddy their ends, i.e. them taxes. All right? So, by facilitating the integration of unbanked individuals and curbing currency substitutions towards stable coin or crypto assets. Yeah, so like I told you all that the stable coins will not be deemed across the world as a currency. Okay, it's going to be the CBDCs. On top of these objectives, the Central Bank of the ECCU and the Bahamas have issued their own CBDC to boost financial inclusion for communities in remote islands and to strengthen the resilience of the payment system to natural disasters and pandemics. A slow take-up and disruptions in access to CBDCs in these countries highlight the importance of investing in public awareness and robust infrastructure to promote the adoption of CBDCs. Managing risk. Crypto assets present risk that vary by country circumstances. The IMF has provided guidance on key elements of an appropriate policy response to mitigate the risk while also harnessing the potential benefits of the technological innovations associated with crypto assets. If well designed, CBDC can strengthen the usability, resilience, and efficiency of payment systems and increase financial inclusion in Latin American countries. While a few countries have completely banned crypto assets given their risk, this approach may not be effective in the long run. Boom. Read between the lines. IMF and World Bank, they're the big daddies. They set the policies on how the financial energy flows on the planet. Okay? So they're pretty much telling you, while some nations, whatever the case, is saying no, you're not going to be able to say no for long. Okay? The region should instead focus on addressing the drivers of crypto demand, including citizens' unmet digital payment needs, and on improving transparency. So in other words, I'm fencing to be in your financial business. You're not going to be able to get no under the table transactions. Okay? All right, so unmet digital payment needs and on improving transparency by recording crypto assets transactions in national statistics. All right, so that is, again, an update that came out mid last month from the IMF. Okay, so the only other thing I just wanted to share with you all, these are the companies that are invested in crypto. All right. So the top banks investing in crypto and blockchain companies. Okay. So when you hear blockchain, fam, I want you to understand blockchain is the technology. Right. That's the technology for the digital space. Okay. All right. Okay. So block demon, huh? Or demon, block demon. Okay. Very, very interesting. Okay, but I'll keep going. All right. So the crypto market has experienced considerable shakeup since last year. We explore how the top banks have been investing in the blockchain space during that time and what use cases are seeing the most investment. Okay, so I'm not going to read through this, but I am going to show you the list of the banks that are investing in crypto. All right. Okay. These are all the heavy hitters, fam. Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Bank of New York Mellon, Commonwealth Bank. Okay, you see that's Aussie. Citibank. This is Singapore, HSBC, London, United Kingdom, Wells Fargo, and even South Korea. So as of 2022, a total of 61 banks now have invested at least once in this space. Okay. And this is a pretty good graph here because it also tells you which particular technologies or companies that the banks are investing in. So this is a very, very good graph and breakout. All right. And this is why we tell you all always follow the money. Okay. So why are they investing in these things? Because they understand that this is where the entire worldwide financial sector is going. Okay. So why not back some of the companies or get a stake in some of the companies that they are going to be a part of the technology for this major crypto rollout. All right. So did want to share that with you all as well to let you know, like we've been telling you all for years that it's coming. Now I am telling you it's already here. They are just rolling it out. Okay. All right. So the last thing that I want to discuss, so you can just be put up on game, Ron DeSantis, I think it was last month, banned crypto in Florida. All right. And, he's running for president. And, it's a big stink that he's saying Ron DeSantis promises to ban CBDC if elected president. All right. Now, again, we just went through. It's not going to happen because Big Daddy said it is going to happen. So DeSantis does not have the power, or any president from that standpoint, from behind the scenes, to make these decisions. Okay. So this is no more than a political show. All right. All right. But we'll, read through it. Current Florida governor and GOP president hopeful Ron DeSantis continues his campaign against central bank digital currency, vowing a ban if he were elected president. Done, dead, not happening in this country, says DeSantis at the Family Leadership Summit in Iowa last Friday. If I am president on day one, we will nix central bank digital currency. Okay, blood, how are you going to do that when you all go to the Federal Reserve to get loans? Yeah, right. Okay. You ultimately answer to the Fed Reserve, who answers to the IMF and World Bank. Yeah, right. Okay. So this family is where I'm hoping, as we're going over stuff in this particular series, that you are putting the players in place on what their true power is and what their true roles are. DeSantis has been an outspoken critic of CBDC for allowing government-sanctioned surveillance, and in March signed a bill to prohibit the use of a national CBDC as money within Florida. As for the broader subject of crypto, he's been a far more supportive previously, calling its use a question of civil liberty and describing Bitcoin as a threat to the current regime. Central bank digital currencies, which are a tokenized form of a country's fiat currency issued by the government, are becoming a growing wedge between political sides in the U.S., with the GOP, broadly speaking, not in favor, and the Democrats so far mostly silent on the subject, all right? So I'm only bringing this into play, fam, to let you know that as these politicians are flapping their gums about digital currency, like they have control or say so over it, it's all show, okay? It's all show. We started out this particular segment talking about the oligarchy. BlackRock is even getting into crypto, all right? And in my opinion, BlackRock has more power than the United States president, okay? So I just want you to start paying attention and also start putting the pieces together of what is going on. You are literally witnessing in our lifetime the largest worldwide financial reset. This is equivalent to the 1933 Great Depression and moving the U.S. off of pegging the dollar to the gold standard. That is how huge this is. And this will be worldwide. All right. And they are doing this again from an energy perspective, from an esoteric, spiritual perspective, because the age or the energy has shifted from the Pisces era to the Aquarian era. The currency or the way financial transactions occur must switch as well. So it's switching to an ether base, okay? Because they understand how energy moves, right? So they're adjusting accordingly. That's why I tell you that when these things are being planned, we're talking at a minimum a 100-year plan. At a minimum, I'm talking at the higher up levels. I'm talking at the World Bank and IMF levels. They have plans at a minimum 100 years. The other players that they will involve that's, directly connected to them, like the central banks around the world. And I'll even throw BlackRock in there as well. They may give them a 25-year view into what is going to be rolled out. All right, fam. So I know we haven't done one of these in a while. I was waiting on actually this month with the FedNow rolling out their particular service, and a lot of other things have been happening behind the scenes in the crypto market. So I thought it was time to give the fam an update. All right. So get ready. I hope you all got a lot of value out of this. So this is Rhonda with WTUZ Radio Podcast. I wish everyone well. Peace and love, family.